Welcome everybody to the Stuff of Sunny, I guess. How are you guys doing? I decided that I don't really give a lot of updates onto the projects I'm working on. When I do, I feel like they're really few and far between. So, just out of the blue, I wanted to make just a video to update state of affairs, what I'm doing, what I've been doing, what I might be doing, that kind of stuff. So, yeah, update video. I guess we should jump right in. What projects I've started that I haven't completed yet, or maybe not said much on. So we'll start with the sprite lapses, because those seem to be the more recent ones that I started, had some consistency, and then just kind of slowed down with. They've basically just been slowing because I've been doing other things, really. Just other things have been occupying my time. The only other major slow to it has been my skepticality of Dailymotion as a platform, but I'll get to that later. What else did I start and haven't finished yet? There's the Pantsu Hack collection for Animal Crossing, New Leaf, and Happy Home Designer. I have Pantsu Hat 3 done. The problem is I wanted to make a comic utilizing little center images for all 10 of the designs per collection, but then I never got around to digitizing the comic. And I thought to myself, this would probably look better if I tried to recreate the comic in actual gameplay. But that got a little bit complicated when I decided to go on a hiatus from Animal Crossing, and I then need to do some time traveling to keep everything in line in both my towns. So I might be able to get back to that soon, but it's going to take some time traveling on 2 different towns and then some multiplayer between two 3DSs to accurately capture the comic that I wanted, but I have a plan for it down now. I know what to do when I decide to get back to it. There's the Sticks the Badger sprite sheet on DeviantArt. I just simply haven't had a lot of motivation for it. That's one of the big things with any project I have. I just sometimes lack motivation, and I don't want to force a product. I don't want to force something. Because usually if something has to be forced, it'll come out in a worse quality than what it could be if it was done with passion and motivation. It's not a dead project. I will definitely come back to it. I just need that motivational push to do it. Need to find something that'll give me the motivation to just push forward and finish it. And since we're talking about sprites and things that I haven't continued in a while, there's my sprite comic. Alright, I am not a writer. I am not a storyboard writer. I can come up with a basic skeletal design for a story, maybe some details here and there, but I am not good with the nitty-gritty, and I basically have a lot of absences on that because I don't know where to go with the story and how to get it from where it is to where I want it without it just being padding or without it being too long or too short, trying to create some sub-arcs between there. So once I can figure out how to continue the story from where I left off, I will definitely get back into continuing that. And to give a bit of a guess as to how much longer it'll be, I'm roughly at the 2/3 point. If you were to ask me about 4 or 5 years ago how far I'd be, like if you gave my past self where I am in story and ask him how far that is, I probably would have said I'm not even a third of the way done, but due to lack of ambition for the project, lack of motivation, lack of storytelling abilities, and just not being as interested in it anymore, I'm kind of ending it a bit sooner than I would have wanted back then. Maybe I'll come back to the idea in a couple years when I'm more motivated with a better story. It's about it for projects I've started that I really haven't completed. So I guess I could talk about Dailymotion now. I went to Dailymotion because when Jake and I tried to Let's Play Faster Than Light, followed by The Sims 3, I got a strike on faster than light for having The Sims 3's intro. It might be because that accounted for more than half the video's runtime, but I'm not sure, and this was a couple years ago when the copyright system was arguably worse than what it is now. Then I learned about Dailymotion, uploaded the Sims 3 videos to Dailymotion, and then proceeded to use it for doing sprite lapses. I kind of slowed down on the sprite lapses on Dailymotion because back in December, their advertisement service, somebody uploaded a malicious ad to it. I got a pop-up on Chrome saying that it had stopped whatever it had tried, but it didn't know if anything had happened, and that gave me quite a scare, and it made me question whether or not I want to use it as a platform. The ad has since been fixed, but I don't want to risk it. I've installed AdBlock Plus because of it. I've also installed a virtual machine if I'm really that skeptical. But I'm not sure how I feel sending any kind of audience to that website since then, which is why anytime I make a sprite lapse, I link it on Tumblr, and anytime I share the video, I link to the Tumblr post. That way you don't have to go to the website. Not sure how bad it is as an app. The app seems to be working fairly okay. But because of Dailymotion and that whole ordeal that happened in December, I've just been skeptical about it. I've been thinking of transitioning the content that I have on Dailymotion over to one of my YouTube channels, which has scared me a bit because the sprite lapses, there's no commentary on them. It's just music in the background. Depending on how long it is, I might need to use 2 tracks. And I don't know how well that'll go on YouTube, considering how the copyright strikes used to work, recently worked, currently work, and might work in the future. So I might make them unlisted, make a commentated version, and then link to the uncommented version somewhere in the video, or if I get a problem with it, I might just upload them silent and in the recommendations give a recommended song that you can listen to. That's one of the ideas I have, but I'm probably going to start moving stuff from Dailymotion over to YouTube and then use YouTube for most of my video needs. And I guess I can mention this because it's been a long time, and this went nowhere. Back shortly after Wind Waker got canceled, which was, oh god, how many years ago now? But shortly after Wind Waker canceled, former member of the Sneaking Spiderwebs, now known as Walt with Parox, former member Edmund Axel 34, agreed to do a collaboration group with Jake and I. And we made the channel for that. We even attempted to record something, but that ended up getting canned. And we still like the idea of doing stuff together. We even tried streaming Starbound once, but it's now under a new name. It's no longer the name we had given it then, and the channel I made shortly after we came up with the name, and we never used it, ever. It's just been sitting there doing nothing for years. I'm surprised YouTube hasn't deleted it. So I might repurpose that. Heck, that might just be where I post things like update videos or sprite lapses or whatever else. So, yeah, that's the 3rd channel that I barely ever mentioned. I did mention it a few times. I alluded to it, but I cut all ties to it. And then there's, what am I doing with Twitch? Twitch was speculated, well, announced, not speculated, it was announced to get a video uploading service where you could upload pre-recorded videos instead of just storing live or video on demands of your live broadcasts. It's still not here yet, but once it does get here, I will test it by uploading the exports that I have on YouTube back over to Twitch. And if all works out well, I might just keep all my live streams on Twitch and be able to further repurpose the old Sunny and Jake channel to something else. I'm not quite sure yet, but I'm currently working this stuff out. So, now that I've got that out of the way, I guess I can go into what I'm currently doing and what you can expect from it. So, my schedule for live streaming has been consistently Tuesdays and Thursdays from about 10:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. Eastern Standard. Sometimes a little bit shorter, sometimes a little bit longer. But that's usually the ballpark I aim for. I have varying degrees of success. Sometimes I might need to cancel because I have plans or I'm just not feeling well. But that's generally the gist. As for streaming, I'm gonna keep doing Sims on Thursdays, but Tuesdays is going to be something a bit different. It's going to be a new blind stream, and I don't know when I'm uploading this video yet. I might have already announced what the blind stream will be, but it's going to be a new blind stream. It's going to reoccur every Tuesday. I'm not going to have it take over the entire channel like I did the Star Fox blind stream, because I had a goal with the Star Fox blind stream to beat it before Zero came out. Try saying Adventures in Zero at the same time. I had the goal of getting it out before Zero came out, and I succeeded with that. This one I only have till the end of the year. My goal is get it done before the year ends, which is likely possible. It's a game that it's blind, but I have a general gist of what to go for. So that's basically my live streaming schedule. As for previous projects, I'm going to need to set myself a schedule for trying to work towards projects that I, again, haven't touched in a while, such as possibly moving everything over to YouTube, doing a new Sprite Lapse, or if I get motivation, continuing Sticks. And I'm thinking on basically just making that Friday, Monday kind of thing. Wednesday is usually the big old chore day in the house where everyone has chores, and it's a mostly all-day thing, and I'd like to have some kind of days off, and since most of my friends are still in school, they're usually off on weekends. It's just a general good thing to aim for. It's just so set in stone for so many things that weekends are days off. So Monday and Fridays will probably be when I continue working towards projects that I haven't finished yet. And hopefully I don't get myself into some project that I haven't, or some new project that I'll can, or not can, but postpone because I want to work on another project and then realize, oh god, I have so many. But I guess that ties into what I plan to do in the future. I plan to return to recorded videos like the old Let's Plays and whatnot, but I'm not going to do them live commentary anymore. I'm going to keep the live commentary for the live streams, and for more recorded stuff, more information, factual, you can use this as a guide rather than use this for, I don't know, entertainment. You could use either for entertainment or white noise, really. I guess like the more recorded stuff for me be trying to show off things a bit better than just my initial first playthrough or whatever. Me trying to show off this, and that, get a specific glitch, or showcase my skills, or whatever. Just a more recorded-esque thing, with post-commentary laid on top of it. I plan to get back to that soon, but there are a few ideas that I have for recording, and none of them are started, and none of them have been planned to the point where I can effectively say I can do this. I'm not going to give any dates yet, but I do plan to come back to it, hopefully before the year ends. That's generally my goal. As for stream highlight reels, currently Sims 2 is the only game that's planned to get these stream highlight reels. Unless I really feel like the stream I had given for a game is just too choppy, or some other exception that I come up with on the fly right then and there. Other than that, like, Sims is probably just gonna be the only game that I get that I do stream highlights for, which I'm still doing. I've only made one so far, and I'm still doing them. Hopefully I'm not going to just have a giant pause in them like I do with all my other projects. I'm trying to get better. I'm trying. And I plan to do more update videos like this, just so that way, for whatever audience I have, I don't care if I have an audience of one person or an audience of 1 million. I don't care if I don't get an audience until after I'm dead. For any audience that might be listening at any time, I plan to do more update videos, so at least you'll be able to see what my plans were, or see what they will be, depending on whether you're watching it soon after the video came out in frequency or long after I've stopped. And I've also toyed around with the idea of doing like non-Let's Play kind of things, non-stream highlights, non-streams. Like maybe review a game or something, give my thoughts on it, see if whether or not I'd recommend it, express my opinions on it, because I have some of my opinions on games are the usual, I think this game's great, you should play it, or these are my reasons for playing it. Some reviews, I have more of an idea of how to make it something fun, like fun to watch, fun for me to do. And some reviews are would just be like, I have some opinions on this, I just want to get off my chest because otherwise I'm not going to. So I've been toying with the idea of doing other videos like that. It would just depend on what ideas come to my head and how enthusiastic I feel about them as they come to my head and as they keep recirculating in my head. And the only other thing that I've been thinking of is possibly doing some form of commissions. Because recently I broke my phone. I broke my Android LG G3. It fell off of a pile I was carrying and the screen shattered. Touchscreen no longer works. The situation has since been fixed, but during the one day where I had to rely on my old iPhone 4 again, I started to think, how am I going to fix these things? Because I have like little to no way of fixing things if they break. Expanding and upgrading anything that I have is something that I'm not in the ballpark of thinking of yet. And I've been thinking, well, what can I do to closer get myself to this ballpark of being able to repair, repair and fix are the same thing, Sonny. To repair, upgrade, and introduce new things to do, like either for entertainment or just for my own personal life. And I thought maybe I could start doing commissions, like sprite commissions, because I'm an amateur spriter and I'm getting better with each sprite I do. At least I think I'm getting better with each sprite I do. And I'd definitely be down to the idea of doing sprites for people if they want me to. Of course, with various situations in my own personal life and the lives of other people, I would like to be reimbursed for my actions because that's just how things are. But the thing that's mainly stopping me is trying to figure out what proper prices for them would be, because I have various ideas, like what style do you want? I can do like NES limitations, like this, like for single sprites, usually NES sprites are within this sprite ratio, this resolution. They're limited to this many colors of this palette. I could do GBA style, where like you don't have a backlit screen, so I'll wash the colors out a bit more, as if it was actually being run on a GBA. Then there's the idea of doing animations, single sprites, sprites that might look different if the subject is facing a different direction, multi-directional sprites for something that isn't side-scrolling, just various sprite projects, and it might even get to the point where I would do a full-on sheep for somebody. It's basically stopping me is figuring out a good price point. How much would people be willing to pay for a single sprite, or maybe an icon, or UI text for something? I don't know. How much are people willing to pay for whatever? I need to try to figure that out, and if I can figure it out, I might open up doing commissions. But other than that, that's generally all I wanted to cover. Just where I've been, what I'm doing, what I hope to do. That's generally it. So if you decide to sit through this, how long have I been going for? Just over 19 minutes of me rambling, probably with some either video footage of what I'm talking about or just some generic gameplay footage behind it. Thanks for listening. It's still me, Sunny, and hopefully I'll be able to entertain you guys sometime within the near future. And whatever I do, I hope you enjoy it. See you guys next time.